Today in the crypto space, we see the market holding steady, Bitcoin at around 62,000 and Ethereum right around that $3,400 mark. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, are a mix of green and red. We have some good gainers like Dogecoin, Sheep. A lot of the meme coins are doing really good. And of course, we got a few dips led by Filecoin down to the lower levels. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. But more importantly, I want to talk about one project, one altcoin that has been around for a while, but its setup is looking really good. That project is called Fantom. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate that strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with the top 100. Bitcoin definitely holding steady here. Planking sideways is a good sign for the altcoins. Ethereum also planking sideways, pretty much a good signal for the larger cap altcoins. You know, this is the thing. We could see a bit of a sideways between these two heavyweights, allowing some of the capital to flow into the larger cap altcoins. Solana right now, a bit hesitant. We do see Cardano a bit hesitant. Dogecoin is running to the upside 7%. And if we keep on going down, today's a pretty sideways day. You can see that based on that local price action, that is pretty sideways. However, we do have some good gainers. We have some good breakouts today. Not bad. There's always the scenario like that where we're going sideways and then there's a few anomalies, random ones that are just going against the grain. Sheep going up 10%, and following that Doge, the home meme coins right now are doing very well. As we can see, there's some sideways price action, some dips, but nothing major. 4% for Cosmos to the downside. IMX coming down a little bit, rolling over, as you can see there on the price on the chart right there. BitTensor looking okay overall for the big picture in the last 24 hours, but did get a short-term retracement. BitTensor Tau has been a great performer, and all of a sudden we could see it cool off just a little bit, guys. I'm expecting some good price action for BitTensor Tau. However, I think that a lot of the altcoins need to catch up to its momentum. Filecoin is coming down a little bit, 5%, no doubt, 5.5%. However, it is still within structure, so you can see it's not really it's not making any type of price action that's giving me any fear right here, because we are not making lower lows right now. In fact, we just came back from making a higher high, so higher highs, higher lows. Maybe the trend is your friend and we continue to the upside eventually after this retracement is over. We have Near Protocol going sideways, planking pretty much. You know, that's the time to either take risk or expect a Bart Simpson retracement. We have the same thing from Caspa, pretty sideways in the last little while. Injective is still grinding to the upside, up 34% in the last 7 days. Some good gainers, sideways, and we have Chrono CRO doing good, still climbing to higher levels. The graph is waking up again for another move, 12%, 12.5% for the graph. GRT is on fire, definitely. It's been a good, I would say, a few weeks that GRT has been good. And that entry, guys, if you've been following me here on the channel, the entry on GRT, those bottom levels where we like to accumulate at the bottom of the range, definitely was the greatest entry for the graph. You would have been up significantly. All right, let's continue. Render is doing great as well, up 4%, holding steady at around $8, $7.50 more or less, within a range which is very healthy and totally fine. As we see Bitcoin and Ethereum kind of take a break, we want to see some of the lower caps, some of the other projects that haven't run, the bottom dwellers finally wake up. And you can see TIA was kind of holding steady. Monero still climbing to the upside, reclaiming its previous price action. Arbitrum kind of going sideways with a slow grind to the upside. Say going sideways, great gainer in the last little while. Same with Sui. All these good gainers are kind of taking a break here and allowing other projects like Theta in the last little while has been killing it, 64% to the upside. Good stuff. So as you can see, they all try to take turns, and if they haven't had their turn yet, you can expect that to happen. Algorand is primed. It looks like it's ready to run. Pep is flying. Pep is up 230 133% in a week, guys. What else do you expect for this thing to do? It's doing very, very well. Congrats if you're a Pepe holder. I would be getting protective on those gains. At any moment, you could see a retracement. So be careful out there. Protect those gains at all costs, for sure. Aave, I'm expecting Aave to wake up a lot harder than it has been in the last little while. The same with any Polkadot as well. Any Polkadot ecosystem project, I would like to see it do some good stuff. We have the metaverse project, Decentraland and Sandbox finally waking up a little bit. Sandbox is up 28%, and I think Decentraland is doing a little bit better. We continue going down a bit of a grind here with Axie, grinding to the upside, slow and steady. That's the agenda here. Gala doing the same thing. Gala's up 38% in 7 days. Pretty good. Like I mentioned, Decentraland another 35%, so that whole narrative might be waking up. Maybe based on the gaming narrative as well, because there's gamification happening in those two platforms. So not bad of a scenario. We got AXL pump and then a bit of a deep retracement. It looks a bit of a pump and dump, but it's not. Oh, dog whiff hat. What's going on here? This thing's running 260%. You can see how these dogs are definitely mooning. So good stuff there. Protect the gains, guys. Protect those gains. And general consensus over the market, guys. Nice and strong market still. I don't see any sign of negativity. Bitcoin is going sideways. Ethereum is also going sideways, taking a bit of a break. And we're seeing some of these altcoins take full advantage of that by running to the upside. Guys, let's continue. Let's take a look at today's video is obviously about Fantom, but we want to start this video talking about Bitcoin. Let's do that. Bitcoin at the end of the day has been running and doing very well. However, taking a bit of a break here is really, really healthy for the altcoin market, particularly some of the bottom dwellers, the ones that haven't really had their main opportunity to exit consolidations at the bottom of the range. And I'm expecting Bitcoin to give that opportunity to the altcoin market. Now, if we see that Bitcoin retains its dominance and it goes up for another impulse, so be it. Eventually, Bitcoin will cool off, even if it goes up a little bit more, even if it goes into even into price discovery. The reality is, when are those altcoins going to catch up? And when they do, they're going to melt faces. We're going to make massive gains, because you know those volatile altcoins definitely do make some good gains. All right, so let's look at this in a little bit more detail. I'm in the mindset still that Bitcoin is a bit frothy. You know, even if it continues, I'm okay with that. The reason being is I'm getting into altcoins. Altcoins, if you get in the right ones, they're outperforming Bitcoin's price action. So even from all this zone where I shifted my strategy and looking into bottom dwellers, looking into micro caps that haven't really mooned yet or moved yet, this is the opportunity to continue with that strategy, because they are going to eventually want to catch up to Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is very frothy, in my opinion, very risky to get into fresh longs. Obviously, it depends on your time horizon. If you want to hold for a good while, of course, DCAing, buying a little bit of Bitcoin, and then if it does come down, buy a bit more. But personally, even Ethereum is in the same boat, hitting that $3,500 mark. Ethereum is obviously catching up to Bitcoin bit by bit. It has outperformed Bitcoin for the last little bit, and it gave it an opportunity to catch up. Now I'm going to be looking for the larger cap altcoins. Let's take a look at Fantom, guys, because really nothing has changed here for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is still going sideways. All right, so let's do that. Let's jump right into the Fantom chart. Fantom is actually looking pretty good. It's an older project. It's been around in the previous bull run. You know, it does have some cool aspects to it. You know, it's own stable coin. It has an algorithmic stable coin that did very well in the previous bull run. It's got DeFi. It's got everything you really need, and it's an exchange that, in my opinion, has a bit more growth capabilities. It has a lot to offer still, right? So it's not in its mature stage. Its ecosystem is still growing. Its leadership is stellar and very highly regarded. So definitely deep dive worthy. But look at this price action, guys. Now here I'm on the daily. If you look at what's going on in the daily, we're still in a very nice consolidation zone, going sideways in the W formation, and you can see that we are now at the top of the range. And unfortunately, I like buying bottoms, but currently we are on the top end of this sideways consolidation, which means that technically speaking, you have to treat this as a breakout trade. Now you're going to notice that as we see these altcoins eventually break out and we see that all of them cycle and rotate, at the end of the day, you're going to have limited options. And if you want to catch the next bus out of this consolidation, you know, the bus is going to move and then you're going to miss the bus. So you want want to really consider, you know, taking a bit of calculated risk even on breakout trades as all of these altcoins are moving. It's going to be limited after a while. You're not going to find those bottom dwellers as easy as they keep on moving. So Fantom is another one. Okay, Fantom is still at the bottom of the range. Clearly, look at all this market participation. This was the DCA zone. This was the area where I was interested in buying the dip, and I made this very clear on the channel that I like buying bottoms, and this was my target, my entry. So far, so good. I love the fact that we basically made a nice big W, big picture here on the daily. We got a nice follow through to the price action, came up to the top, we got rejected, no big deal, got support on the strongest EMA that we have here on this chart, which is the 200 EMA. And what I also like is that we got a bit of a confirmation, a right shoulder, you want to call it. This could be a shoulder, this could be the head, this could be another shoulder, but what we can concern this as being a confirmation low, a higher low. A higher low right here is absolutely perfect. And in addition to that, some people might call it a cup and a handle, which, so be it. It all refers to the same thing. They're all patterns of bullish patterns for breakouts. And we can see a nice rounded bottom right here, and we have this little dip of a handle. Now, what kind of retracement did we get with this handle? Let's make sure it hasn't gotten invalidated. Just for your reference, we take swing low to swing high, and we look at the retracement. It did come down a little bit too deep. 0.5 Fibonacci technically invalidates the cup and the handle formation, but I don't really care. At the end of the day, we got nice support at golden pocket. We have the 200 EMA. The sentiment is here. The reality of the structure is that we got a confirmation low, a higher low. All we really need now to confirm that this is a pivot point is a higher high. Let's break out of this previous high and break above this previous high, because it could also act as resistance, and then eventually we start breaking up. So looking pretty good here, whether you look at it as an inverse head and shoulders, a cup and handles, or whatever W formation type of thing. Really, the magic happens once we break above 60 cents more or less, because it's very difficult to put in accuracy. You can see that we do begin a bit of a weak spot. You guys know that I look at volume gaps using the volume profile, so let's do that and kind of consolidate this price action just a little bit, and then we'll look at the momentum. You can see that there's a lot of weakness up here. Now the weakness also begins down here. We got to admit there's no way as near as the amount of market participation that we in comparison to this level. This level, you can see a lot of people are accumulating. There's action happening. We're creating good sentiment for the possibility of us breaking out here. Let me get another red box going on so we can highlight the importance of this level. And this level where I'm doubling up, and you can see got more of a brighter red, is actually weaker than this lower level, as can be seen. We got a bit of price action, but at this level right here, we get super weak, which means that once we break 54 cents, more or less 55 cents, we start really getting into a weak spot where we can see this price action really start moving. And you can see that I got some red arrows in there suggesting, look, if we get these levels, you're hitting some good extension levels. Let's see what kind of extension levels we're hitting. Before we do that, let me clean out this Fibonacci so that we can use Fibonacci extensions, swing high to swing low, and then we can position ourselves just a little bit. And you can see that we have the 1.27 right out of here, the 1.618 right into here, and then we have the 2-to-1 extension right here, which is a very healthy, obviously, extension. The golden pocket, the 1.27 for me are very confluent zones that a lot of traders take profit at, and we do see reactions there more often than not. But we're not in price discovery, so we really have to understand that previous price action is going to be king here. We're going to look at horizontal resistance. Obviously, that's going to supersede Fibonacci. Fibonacci is, statistically speaking, a great indicator, but you can't beat price action. Price action is king in this case, so we're going to have to put a bit of priority on the price action and use Fibonacci for a bit of confluence. Ultimately, yeah, if we get around to this level, maybe about 90 cents to $1, that's a great psychological zone. I would be trailing up a stop loss 100%, because once we get up to this zone, who's to say that we can't come back down, retrace, get a confirmation off a back test of this previous resistance, and then get another spring to the upside. In the meantime, you know, the market's going to basically test your weekends. The good news is that if you got here at the bottom, guys, if you got your entry here at these lower levels, all of this price action really is just noise. It doesn't really matter, because this is a bull run entry. This right here, you got in at if you would have got in here, you would have definitely got in at a level where you got 1, 2, 3 levels of horizontal support. You can see that thick yellow line and a volume gap right below for a clear invalidation. If it fell below, you would put a stop loss. Now, that could still happen, guys. It does look like a breakout, but it could still happen that we come back down and test range lows. What about if Bitcoin takes a bit of a dip? Or maybe a bigger one? It could definitely come back and hit those bottom levels. However, guys, of all the bearishness throughout the bear run and all the catalysts for a potential huge dump didn't bring it lower than this, guys, what else could we get here to bring this Fantom chart even lower than these lows? That's how the perspective that I'm taking. The volume is definitely consolidating, definitely shrinking, and potentially looking for an expansion phase. But like I said, the real magic happens above 54 cents. Zoom out a little bit and you can see previous price action. There's not much volume in comparison to where we are right now. So this suggests we're picking up bullish bids so that we can have enough strength to break out of any resistance above and eventually smooth sailing to the top. Obviously, we'll get some peaks and valleys, some corrections based on, confluent zones. I'm expecting a bit of a reaction at about $1.14, $1.15 because of these lows right here. And you can see based on the volume gap that we begin a bit of a hump of volume that could cause reactions, right? So these are the things that we need to consider here on the daily. The daily did get overbought before, but not in an extreme way. We really want to see an extreme overbought condition. And if we look at the weekly, I can bet you it's not even overbought. You can see that, like, we really want to get overbought here with some real conviction. And then we're going to see this price fly to about $1.15. And that's when I'm interested to be getting really, really defensive on my gains. Now, doesn't mean that I'm going to be exiting my positions. I'll be trailing up a stop loss to ensure that I walk away profitable no matter what. We see the MACD on the weekly looking really good. That's also an indication to me that we are going to continue to the upside in the short term, leading into the potential the rest of the bull run. This could be the bull run entry. That's the reality. The daily still looking good. EMA's facing up, green histogram bars to the upside, and the 4-hour maybe looking for a retracement. But you can see how choppy and indecisive all this momentum is. Basically, the trend strength is not very decisive, and you can see that based on the price action. It has been going a little bit sideways, and I know my TA is a bit messy, especially as you zoom in, but you can see choppy, nothing really actionable here on the 4-hour. Unless you're really going to start zooming in and trading the 4-hour, guys, you have all this to battle with, and I wouldn't be touching this. Look at all this market participation where you can get, quick peaks and valleys along the way. You want to get into a level where you got lots of empty space to run, and again, that is above the 55 cents. So psychologically, what I would be preparing a position in here is by expecting the breakout. That I know it's a breakout trade at the current moment, but of course, looking for entries at lower levels is the best scenario. So the question is, could we come down for another test? Guys, we need to break below this previous low. And if it does, it's likely to come back down to the range lows again. If we break below this low, the likelihood of that happening in the current state of the market, in the current pattern that we see here on Fantom, the likelihood of that happening is very low. Again, no certainties here. It's just probability. I do expect a continuation to the upside and an eventual break of these highs. Now, again, entry, you're buying the top of the range. So how are you going to mitigate risk? Where are you going to put a stop loss here? Now, you could put it here on the previous low, no doubt. Of course, if it comes down, stop yourself out. What kind of price action do you need to endure? You get in at the top where we are right now. You got to endure a 35% dip and maybe a little bit more if you put a stop loss under here, which is a significant dip. If you get in with a large bag, you're gonna feel it. So this is why position size is very important. You have to make sure that you get into this trade. If you start buying Fantom and you want to buy a bag, you get in with an appropriate amount, assuming that the invalidation of this bullish move is pretty much here. Now, we could come down to range lows and get another opportunity to reaccumulate. And guess what? If you do make a little loss, this is where you got to double down. Cut your losses over here, come down to these levels, have a bit of conviction. If you are fundamentally bullish on Fantom, I would suggest doing a bit of a deep dive. Go check out what they're all about, and then come down to these levels and then start looking for another entry, looking for bullish divergences, looking for good patterns and momentum shifts. And that way, if you double down, triple down, as soon as we get that bounce after after breaking below this previous low, you have a good chance of now becoming very profitable. Not only is the way up to resistance a good amount away, but that gives you the probability that we're actually going to break out of this horizontal if we do come down. The more times we come down, the more times we pick up more bulls, and they accumulate even more. Now, we're not even touching the horizontal. The reality is that there's not enough bearishness to even touch the horizontal. So that leads me to believe that this is actually holding up very, very strong. We have the point of control around here. We have the 200 daily right around here, which we got already support. So a lot of good confluence, and we're looking to get overbought as we speak. It looks like it's trying to trek to that overbought condition. Guys, looking really good. And again, the EMAs on this daily, really bullish. EMAs are facing up with green histogram bars, trying to desperately stay in the bullish control zone, and they are in the bullish control zone right now. So suggesting that we can get a nice expansion phase to the upside and represent something like this. Slowly, it grows and grows to the point that the move to the upside is going to be significant. And this is the bottom of the range. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a huge favor and slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. Of course, I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern talking about crypto news and price action. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. But better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.